What makes this game truly next-gen has been the focus that we're doing on movement. What we found is that it's Drake's imperfections that make him believable. It's him stumbling, it's him not perfectly landing correctly every time. And so one of the things that we wanted to do with him is make him a kind of an everyman put into an extraordinary situation.
PlayStation 3 is like, you know, allowing us to do these amazing things runtime. We're hitting over, I mean, easily over 30 frames a second in some complex environments that have all this wind gusting around, and it can be this nice little breeze, and we can then push through an actual gust that like churns it up a little bit and then it settles back down.
To achieve cinematic quality, we looked at a lot of foams and the kind of things they were doing. One of the things in foam that we weren't able to do on the PS2 that we're able to do on the PS3 now is they have complex shaders and complex rendering techniques. That allows us to create multiple layers of textures that we can pipe into a shader that gives us complex skin.
The PlayStation 3 really opened up the floodgates for us to achieve the goals that we wanted to with the animation. We need much more CPU power than we've ever had before. And the amount of memory that we have to work with now just really allows us to have the quantity and quality that we need, especially with the layers that we're doing and all the processes that are going on right now. It just could not be done in any other way.
The RSX chip is the graphics chip, and without that sucker, you couldn't do any of this stuff. PlayStation 2 was extremely powerful for pushing a lot of polygons. And this generation, it's all about shaders. And what the RSX chip allows us to do is have these complex shader instructions pushed through relatively quickly and drawn pixel for pixel, drawn very quickly as well.
We have the power now to really take on human characters and make them believable. This is something that, you know, was an incredibly overwhelming task, but we really took on head first. The PS3 was able to allow us to create subtleties that we wouldn't be able to do previously. Skin detail, pore detail, have, you know, anatomically correct body structures, elaborate facial expressions. These are all things that the power of the PS3 has really allowed us to actually create.
One of the things that makes Drake so lifelike is the sheer volume of animations that we're doing on this game. We're doing about 10 times more than we've ever done in the past, which is huge. I mean, it's a huge step, 10 times the amount of animation.
Skin movement plays a huge role in keeping humans alive, and when that skin moves, it creates wrinkles. So we really knew that one way or another we had to get wrinkles in. We wouldn't be able to have dense enough geometry to create modeled-in wrinkles, so we basically figured out a technique of wrinkle mapping that generates wrinkles through textures. If Drake lifts up his brows, one brow up and the other brow down, he's going to get two different areas of wrinkles in his face based on how the muscles either expanding or contracting. That technology has really allowed us to create convincing characters that when they emote, you really get a sense for the certain poses that they're creating.
So we did water. We want to make really nice water. So it has to feel wet, it has to look like the player is interacting with it, and if you shoot the surface, you want it to react to that shot. If you shoot near the surface, maybe there is some sort of an impact on the soil that you also want to kind of, that wind would impact. We get that as well. And without the PlayStation 3 and without Naughty Dog being crazy, I mean, we wouldn't be doing water, that's for sure, because it's crazy.
We also spent a lot of time developing systems that allowed us to emulate muscle structure inside of the body. So when the character actually flexes his arm, there's a bicep bulge. When he moves around, his chest actually has volume and form to it. So we created underlying joint structures that actually emulated muscles, and now when Drake moves around, he has a solid mass, a solid form, and he really feels like a believable character that's there and it's tangible.
A lot of the ways that we're able to tell the story is through the environment, through the other characters in the scene.
Don't you guys usually just cut off a finger or something?
We don't have to cut to a cutscene in order to deliver a line of dialogue or a story or things that we want to portray to kind of lead the character on and lead Drake and the player on to the bigger story that's unveiling. So all that will happen while you're playing the game.
We also looked at a lot of rendering techniques that take place in foam, post-blur effects, specific lighting per character, soft shadows. All of these things is what really brings cinematic quality characters to life, and we try to emulate those things in the game.